All right, we are live back here for episode number 30 of ARCS Behind the Driver. We're live on YouTube, I believe. Need to double check because I had to change over some stuff here, but we got Ross Baxter in the house tonight. So appreciate everyone that will tune in and listen. Again, like I said, we are live on YouTube. I'm going to try and get Twitch working here in just a moment, but we'll get started at least on YouTube. So stick around. We'll have Ross Baxter here in just a moment.
Welcome to ARCS, Behind the Driver podcast.
Live here. Sorry, I had to check my mic. I haven't done this in a while. It's been like 3 weeks. We're here with Ross Baxter, episode 30. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. Just called a race that I think had like 68 cautions or something. Like, ugh,
Ran more caution laps than actually race laps. Yeah.
that was wild. That was wild. Um, Man, I haven't done this in so long. I feel like I'm kind of rusty, but yeah, we'll just have fun. Why not? You know.
Yeah.
It's all,
I'm
it's
down
all,
for it,
it's
man.
all about having fun. So, I'd like to start off, introduce yourself. Obviously, a lot of people know who you are, some people don't. So, who are you and where are you from, and just a little bit about you?
Yeah. So I'm Ross Baxter. I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. Um, I am a plumber by trade. That's what I do for work. So I work with other people's feces all day. So, but
Hell yeah.
yeah. I've always been racing has always been a big part of my life. Started watching it back probably like I was since I can always remember. So um, that's that's me in a nutshell, man. To be honest with you.
Hell yeah. All right. So, walk us through kind of what I ask everyone on this podcast. Where, or not where, but when did you come into ARCS, and what was the story? Who brought you in, to ARCS, and what was the story behind that?
So I've been with ARCS for about a year now. Um, I've really only ran A squared, but now I'm starting to get into some other series that works with my schedule. Uh, Main person that really got me into ARCS would be Matthew Kent. I met Matthew, um, well, back in the day, I used to call him Raggy. Uh, I actually met Kent back in NASCAR Heat 4. It was probably around 2020, right at the pandemic, where we couldn't go out to bars and stuff like that. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get the new NASCAR game and hop on there. And I think probably the second day I had it, I met Kent in a public lobby. And if memory serves me correct, I might have to ask Kent about this. I felt like the first time we raced together in a public lobby, I think we raced together for like 12 hours straight. Just me and him just kind of vibed together. And um, next you know, we started, meeting some other people, started racing all the time. And I was at a work retreat for my job one day, and he sent me a Discord message saying that, hey, I just started a league up. And he goes, we're starting this weekend. I was like, well, I can't race. And I was like, well, I'll be there. And the next thing you know, we started the Raggy Racing League and started becoming an admin on that side, help Kent run the league and everything like that. And got the I think we did that for about 4 or 5 seasons, I think, and uh, really enjoyed it. And I was like, man, this is what I've needed in my life. To have kind of act like I'm a race car driver because when I was little, that's what I wanted to be. Since I was five, I wanted to be a race car driver, but never really got the opportunities to do that. And got to meet some great people along the way in Heat 4 and 5. Um, got to meet Del Markowski, with the Raggy Racing League, and then of course Kent went to iRacing. Kind of, I wouldn't say abandoned us, but kind of left us. I get it. I always wanted iRacing, and then Dell went to it, and they kept. I mean, those two were on me for the longest time. You need to get iRacing. You need to get iRacing. And there was one weekend I was like, you know what? I'm going to get me a laptop. Went and got me a laptop. Told them that I got the laptop, and They helped me set it up, and next you know, they invited me into ARCS, and it for me personally, I'm a very shy kind of person. I kind of keep to myself. Um, so I really didn't. Well, I really wasn't really active until the start of the A squared stuff, and I was like, you know what? I think this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with A squared, and and the whole time, like I wanted, I was telling Dell this. I was like, dude, I hope you and me get drafted on the same team. I was like, you're really the only person I know. You're the only person that, I know for sure I get along with. And I was like, I hope you and me get drafted so we're together. Of course, we didn't. I got drafted by Lion Pyre and Tom Sears. And to be looking at it now, I think getting drafted to Lion Power and Tom Sears was probably the best thing to happen, because I learned so much from those guys. Tom, uh, Brandon Fetterplace, Daniel Michelle. I mean, they took me under their wing and just taught me everything. And I felt they kind of made me a better driver because the entire time I was driving these cars like I would in Heat 5 because that's my only experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept burning up my right fronts and everything like that. And I remember one time Brandon Featherplace really, I mean, he sat down with me for 2 hours on a test session and just coached me about saving tires. And um, I mean, my results just went up from there. And so yeah, that's all I really got for the history of me being on ARCS. But I'm starting to kind of spread my wings a little bit more. Starting to run um, some more series, run the late models. I kind of enjoy doing that. Still trying to work on, my driving style, trying not to, save tires more, because that's my worst thing I can't figure out is saving tires. But yeah, that's basically how I got in here, and I'm very glad to be part of this community, especially getting to meet you in Atlanta and everybody else. I mean, that was the icing on the cake. Um, that whole experience was absolutely amazing. So I'm glad to finally be here, finally being able to uh, call a lot of these guys more of my friends now, and doing this, kind of thing, just talking to you, drinking beer, and just talking. Like I've been looking forward to this. I knew it was probably going to happen eventually, but
Oh yeah.
um, uh, now it's here. I'm thrilled to death to be here. So
Yeah, it's definitely different when you. I mean, a lot of the people, even for me, I race with a lot of people in ARCs, and I know their voices. I some of them, I know what they look like when we have, parties on Discord and kind of all turn our cameras on, and so like I
yeah,
know, what some people look like. I know what they sound like, but when you get to meet them in person, it's just it's a different ball game. Like because you finally get to be like, oh, okay, this is Ross Baxter, this is Tommy Reynolds, this is
yeah,
Tom Sears. Like you finally make that connection, and it's one of the coolest things, honestly, that I think that we do. It's a lot of fun. I mean, obviously us racing damn near 7 nights a week. I mean, that's fun too, but when you get to go to a NASCAR weekend, I mean, we watched the Xfinity race, we watched
mhm,
Cup qualifying, we watched the Cup race. I mean, when you get to go to a race with 10 or 11, 12, however many people we had,
taking up a whole row.
yeah, taking up two rows pretty much. That's it's different because that's we all obviously love racing. We love NASCAR. That's why we do what we do. I mean, that's why we watch NASCAR races every single Sunday, Saturday night. So to be able to experience it, I'm telling you, if you've never been to an ARCS retreat, you gotta at least go
Let
once.
go.
Yeah, you
Uh,
gotta do it once. And more than
like
likely, when you do go, you're gonna want to be there every year. It's just it's different. It is.
yeah,
It's just
that's
different.
how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Tom Sears and Brandon Farrell place. There was one time I think we did a team practice for an A squared race, and next thing you know, we did this. We turned our cameras on. We started drinking beer, just talking the shit, like till like 2 o'clock in the morning. And Tom was like, "Man, you need to come to Atlanta. You need to come to Atlanta." I was like, "I don't know. I only know really two people. You, Brandon, and Tom." And I was like, I just don't know. Like I said, I mean, I'm a very shy person to getting started, but kind of once I kind of get open a little bit, you know, it's fine. And he goes, "Man, you need to go. You need to go." Well, I was like, it's like, let me see if I can get that day off. I was like, I need a vacation anyways. Let me ask it off, see what happens. I think the next day I asked it off, and I got approval. I was like, okay. And I told Tom, I was like, hey man, I'm free that weekend. And then unfortunately Seth couldn't go, and
Yep.
he wanted to know if I could take his spot. I was like, yeah man, I'll take it. So
Yep.
um I mean, and the thing is, it was weird. Like once I flew down there, and you know, and we drove up to the house, and I won't forget this. We drove up to the house. We get out of the car, and I see you and Tom Sears. I think because Brandon Featherplace drove us from
Hmm.
the airport, and I was like, okay, there's Tom, there's Ryan, you know, we'll give him a good handshake. Next, just from the start, we're giving hugs around. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah. We don't do
and
handshakes.
then I mean, from there, it was like I've known you guys for 10 plus years instead of maybe 6 months or 8 months, and um, yeah, you can count me in for next year for sure,
Yep.
regardless of where it goes. I think we're talking Martinsville, which I'm cool with.
Yeah. I
So
think I think right now we're kind of split between Martinsville and Charlotte, the Coke 600. So I think a lot of people changed their votes, kind of did a mail-in ballot.
I'm perfectly fine with either
Yeah.
one because I'm literally stuck in right in the middle between Charlotte and Martinsville.
Yeah.
I think
If I was still living in Georgia, Charlotte, I think it's like a 4.5 hour drive, but I'm in
yeah,
Michigan now, so
I
yeah.
think to Martinsville, I can be at Martinsville Speedway in 45 minutes.
Damn.
And then I think Charlotte is maybe an hour, hour and a half for me.
Oh yeah, so
So
golden for you either way.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Atlanta was going to be I think a 7 hour drive for me. And typically I would have drove that.
Yeah.
But my parents called me up and they wanted me to come up because my dad wanted me to do some plumbing work for them at the house they're still under construction. And I was like, the thought of, driving from Atlanta back to Raleigh, because that's where my daughter lives,
Hmm.
then back to West Virginia, I was looking at easily around 16 hours of driving. I was like,
Yeah, that's
yeah, I'm
tough.
not doing that. That's the whole reason I flew. I could have easily drove, but yeah, I figured I would just fly. So,
Might as well. I mean,
mhm.
flying it does make it a lot quicker, a lot easier, but then you got to find a ride, you got to make sure. But there's so many of us coming in that somebody will be at the airport, and
Yeah.
we got lucky this time because we all a bunch of us flew into Atlanta
Mhm.
airport, which is one of the I think it is the biggest airport in the United States. So
At
uh,
least on the East Coast,
yeah,
for sure.
so a lot of opportunities there for people to fly in. I know when we flew or when we went to Darlington, last year. They do have an airport there, but it is tiny compared to what I'm used to because, again, being from Georgia, I always fly out of Hartsfield in Atlanta, and
Yeah.
holy shit, that Darlington airport was like, there was like 2 planes there, and I'm like, is this even really an airport? I don't think it is. Like, I don't
That kind
know.
of sounds like the Greensboro Airport, PTI.
Yeah.
PTI is small, but not. I wouldn't say it's that small, but it's a pretty small airport. I think it only has like 2 terminals, if I'm not mistaken. So
That's all you need. That's all you need. Just 2 terminals. You'll be fine.
yeah. But yeah, like when I flew to West Virginia, we landed in Pittsburgh. I had a layover in DC airport, going to Pittsburgh, and then from Pittsburgh we laid over in New York City, which was the LaGuardia airport. By far, the Atlanta airport is definitely the biggest.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I flew into Atlanta. I went there for I was working at the time with Home Depot, and their headquarters is in Atlanta. And they flew me down to Atlanta for training for a week, and I was so confused when I got into the Atlanta airport. I remember when my plane landed, I got out and I started following the signs for baggage claim. I just kept following it. And I kept seeing this subway station on the side. I was like, I don't need that subway.
Yeah, you do.
I'll just walk it. I'll just walk
Yeah,
it.
you do.
45 minutes of walking. I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is getting ridiculous. I jump on the subway. I literally jump on the subway. It took me 1 stop. I was at baggage claim. I'm like, yeah, I should have jumped on the subway a lot sooner.
Yeah, if you have time to kill, it's okay to walk because it's kind of cool in between terminals. Like, they have some artwork and some cool stuff. But yeah, if you want to get to where you need to go, yeah, take the plane train. That's what we call it. It's a plane train. But yeah, it's a huge airport. But
Huge airport.
next year will be fun, regardless whether we go to Charlotte or Martinsville. I mean, we're trying to, obviously, like, we started, we went to Bristol Dirt, was our first ever corporate retreat. That was probably one of my most favorite, just because it was the first time that we ever went. Obviously you got to meet my dad. My dad actually stayed with us at Bristol Dirt, so he didn't just come to the race like he did this year. He actually stayed at the house with us, which was just so much fun. I mean, my dad's super cool. He's, for those of y'all that have met my dad, he's literally me. I mean, he is me. Just
in a nutshell.
30 years older. That's it. I mean, I'll be 33, I think, this November, and my dad will be 60 in February, 61, or he was born in 63, so whatever. Whoever can do math, that's how old he is. But yeah, he's me and him are literally the same. And
you would never see my dad as something like that.
And it's
at all.
It's funny because my dad growing up, like, obviously he was one of the main reasons why I got into NASCAR, because he loved NASCAR. Same. He was a huge Rusty Wallace fan. Back when Rusty drove the Miller Genuine Draft, that black, I mean, just one of the most iconic paint schemes.
100% agreed.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft car. I mean, so my dad obviously drank Miller Genuine Draft in a can, and I'll never forget, they quit making it in the can. They started only making it in the bottle, and he was like, this is bullshit. He's like, what the fuck? Like, I can't get my Miller Genuine Draft in a can anymore. And I was like, well, just get it in a bottle. He's like, no, I don't want to drink out of a bottle. So that's when he changed over to Busch Light, and he's been drinking Busch Light ever since. But he, when Rusty Wallace obviously retired, he was like, I don't really know who to root for anymore. And I was like, well, I mean, at the time it was Brad Keselowski was in the 2 car there for a little bit, so he really liked Brad Keselowski. And he still likes Brad Keselowski now, even in the 6 car, because he obviously, me and him are huge Ford guys. We love Ford.
Same here.
Yeah. So, and then once I kind of latched on to Ryan Blaney, he kind of followed me, and he was like, you know what? Yeah, like he likes Austin Cindric, but let's be honest, Austin Cindric is not the best race car driver out there. So I was rooting for Blaney, and Blaney wins the championship. I got the flag behind me, Yep, there you go. And my dad was just like, "Hey, well, you like Ryan Blaney? I think I might like him too." So he kind of jumped on the bandwagon with me, and so now we're both pretty huge Ryan Blaney fans, and you are too. But so how did you? What started your Ryan Blaney fandom?
So good story. So I'll kind of start kind of like how you did the evolution of your favorite drivers. So when I was 5, that's when I really started getting into NASCAR. My dad was a big Mark Martin fan, and my uncle was a big Davey Allison fan. So this is early 90s. So I think for my birthday, my uncle gave me a Davey Allison RC car.
Oh yeah.
I think I still have it, to be honest with you. It might be in my closet. I fell in love with that thing. I was a huge Davey Allison fan. I only got to watch him race for a year, I think.
Yeah.
So I still remember when he passed away. Like, I really couldn't, like, we turned into the next race, after his death, and I was like, where's Davey? Where's Davey? And that was the first time that my parents kind of had to describe,
death.
what happened. Yeah, the death. And I was like, I'm not going to see Davey out. Like, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's probably the first time I remember crying.
Yeah.
And so I was out of a driver. So, of course, with my dad being a big Mark Martin fan, I became a Mark Martin fan. That was my driver until he semi-retired. And then he went to Chevrolet.
Yeah.
I wasn't having that,
Yeah, can't do it.
I'm a Ford guy. I mean,
what's funny? What's funny is so another kind of story, because before Ryan Blaney, I was a huge Casey Kane fan, and I loved Casey Kane. People I've talked about it on this podcast before, but the reason behind that obviously was my dad loved Rusty Wallace, but Bill Elliott was kind of like our guy because he was from Dawsonville, Georgia. He was from our state. He ran Fords. He was in the 94 car for a couple years. He was in the 11, and then he moved over to the 9 with Ray Evernham, and it was like, and he was good. Like he was fast. He had speed, and so we were like, okay, well, yeah, Bill Elliott, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then, that of course they were in Dodge, but it's like, okay, whatever. It's at least it's not Chevrolet. And then Bill Elliott, was like, hey, I'm getting old. I can't do this forever. So he retired, and then Casey Kane came in, and I was like, I really like this guy. Like, I don't know why, but I like him. Like, he's good. And Casey Kane, man, he made that 9 car. I mean, I'll never forget. I think it was 2006 when he won like 8 races that year. And I was like, yes. Like, I already liked him, but now he's winning. Yeah, this is my guy. And then it's almost identical to Mark Martin. He's in the 9 car, which again at the time was a Dodge. And then he moves over to the same number that Mark Martin moved to, the 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a Chevrolet. And I'm like, he's in a Chevrolet, but still I'm going to root for him. And then he just kind of checked out. He was not enjoying himself. You could tell, he just wasn't having fun anymore. And now, like any sprint car race that I watch, in Discord or whatever, if Casey Kane's there, I'm like, I am so happy he's out there. Just he's having fun. He owns his own sprint car team now. Like, so I was a huge Casey Kane fan, but it stemmed back from my dad loved Bill Elliott, Dawsonville, Georgia. Now, Chase Elliott, I'm not a huge fan, but he is from Georgia. He is from Georgia still, so if he wins, I'm still happy. But he's kind of been struggling this year. I don't know. He hadn't done a whole lot this year. I don't know. So who's your second driver? Like for me, it was like Casey Kane, Blaney. Now I'm 100% Blaney. Like I like Brad because my dad kind of likes him. But who would be like your second favorite driver?
My second would be Eric Jones.
Okay.
So the whole thing behind Eric Jones was, so after Mark retired, I was out of a driver, and I remember I was up at my grandpa's house up in West Virginia, and we were watching a truck race, and I can't remember what truck race it was, but so Carl Edwards won that race, and I remember to this day, my grandpa looked at me, he goes, "Have you seen this guy?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Who is he?" He goes, "He's going to do a backflip off his truck." I'm like,
What?
Is
this gymnastics?
I've never seen it before, and I saw it, and I was a Carl Edwards guy. He ran for Roush, so I followed Carl Edwards all the way, even to Joe Gibbs Racing, because I was like, okay, it's not Chevy, it's Toyota, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Kind of the same thing with
Chevrolet. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not Chevrolet. And so when Carl Edwards retired, that was when I believe Eric Jones filled in for, was it Kyle Busch for a couple races? I think he was hurt or something like that. And he
Probably
was knocking off like
broke his leg that year.
Yeah, possibly. And he was driving the 18 car. He was doing pretty good in Xfinity, but he was knocking off like top 10s, top 5s in in 5 stars. I'm like, I like this guy. He's going to get a cup ride. So I was an Eric Jones guy. I'm still am an Eric Jones guy, even though he is driving for a Chevrolet.
Yeah.
So he is my second. But the reason why I became a Ryan Blaney fan, I was at the Martinsville race. I believe this was 2021. It was the same race that Ross Chastain
Watermelon. Yeah. Hail Mary. Hail Melon.
I was in turn 4 when that happened. Still won't forget that day. That was just a crazy experience. We can talk about that later. But so after the race, it was me, my brother-in-law, and my nephew. My brother-in-law and my nephew are big Chase Elliott fans. Bless their souls, And so he wanted to. So at Martinsville, where the trucks entered in turn 4, a lot of times you will see the drivers, drive past in their go-karts. They might stop, sign autographs. So my nephew went down there and was trying to get autographs. So me and my brother-in-law stood still in the stands, so we could keep an eye on him and just, see if we could see some drivers. We saw Denny Hamlin come by in a go-kart, and his go-kart was completely, like, it was like one of those encapsulated go-karts. Like, if it was going to rain, I'm like, okay, can't yell at him. And then I think we saw, who was the other one? I think it was like, can't remember who else. There was another driver that went by us. I got pictures of him on my phone. I probably can pick them up. There was another driver that drove by. I think it was like William Byron, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. William Byron drove by us. And then I see Ryan Blaney. Not a Ryan Blaney fan, but I do like him. And I see Ryan Blaney driving in his go-kart. And I'm probably about 10 beers deep through there. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna yell at him. I was like, Ryan Blaney, you the man from the top of my lungs. And all of a sudden, I see Ryan look straight at me and starts waving at me. I was like, that is the kind of coolest thing.
Like, he knows me.
Even well,
I'm his friend.
even though I'm like probably 100 yards away from him, probably 50 feet up, he took the time
Yeah.
just to wave at me. I was like, okay, he's one of my favorites now, and from there I jump on the bandwagon. Eric Jones' performance kind of went low, so I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm going to jump ship. I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney, and that's when he really got better, and that's when he won the championship. I believe
Yep.
it was either the next year or the year after that he won the championship, and I think he would actually be the first driver I pulled for to actually win a championship.
Hell yeah.
After Davey Allison, Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, Eric Jones, and Blaney.
I liked, I liked Ryan Newman when he was in the 12 car. I mean,
Yep.
Ryan Newman's just super laid back. But like, even when Ryan Blaney was in the 21 car, obviously Ford, Wood Brothers, iconic team,
Right.
and he won that race at Pocono. That's what kind of got me drawn in to Ryan Blaney, because I was like, this kid is something special. Like, you think, I know Harrison Burton won Daytona, and again, congrats to Harrison Burton, but it's
Absolutely.
It's Daytona.
It's Daytona.
Ryan Blaney won at Pocono in that number 21 car. That's different. That is pure.
That takes some skill.
Yeah, that's pure skill and talent right there. So
Yeah.
it's different than, okay, yes, Harrison Burton won at Daytona. Again, I've won a bunch of super speedway races in my career in ARCS. I'm not saying that it's a fluke, but anybody can win those damn things. Anybody. So, again, I get it. Harrison Burton won. Woohoo. Yay. 100th win for Wood Brothers. I'm happy. But to win at Pocono in the 21 car, I was like, yeah, I think I kind of like this kid. And then Newman was like, yeah, I'm out. So then Blaney gets into the 12, and I'm like, oh, I think I might be pulling for Ryan Blaney. And then it was 2 years ago, because our corporate retreats, we've done Bristol Dirt, we did Talladega, we did Darlington, and then this year we did Atlanta. So we've had 4 total. The Talladega race that we went to, which was so much fun, because we went to the Talladega short track, the dirt track, right across the street from Talladega, and Chase Briscoe was running his 410 Sprint. Chase Elliott was running a late model that was slow as fuck. I don't even know why he got in that car. That thing was awful. But we got to see dirt track racing and Talladega in the same weekend. It was amazing.
I would love to go to Talladega.
Oh, it was
Just
so much
saying.
fun. It was so much fun.
It's on my bucket list. That's one track I have not been to is Talladega.
Yeah,
I've been to Daytona once, but not Talladega.
It was a blast. But anyway, so Ryan Blaney had a like a one of those interviews in the middle of the fucking infield or whatever, not infield, but where we were at in the speed zone or whatever they call it nowadays. And that year Kinsey actually came with me, or came with everybody, and she has a picture of me and Ryan Blaney. I have my hat, like I'm holding my hat out, and he had grabbed it and he was signing it, and Kinsey took a picture. I still have it on my phone. But
I think I remember you telling this in Atlanta.
Yeah. It is the only picture that I've ever seen of myself where you can tell that I'm smiling through the back of my head. Like, you can't see my face, but I'm like ear to ear,
like a little kid in a toy store.
I was like a kid, and he just, like, even like what you were saying, like, he cares about his fans. Like he didn't skip anyone in that line when he came off the stage. He signed everything that anybody put in front of him, and he signed my hat. I still have it. I think it's actually in this closet behind me. But I was like, dude, like I already liked him. I already was a fan. But then when he did that, like he signed my hat, and I even said something to him. I was like, good luck today. Stay out of the big one. He's like, yeah, we're gonna try. And I'm like, he just talked to me. Like, what the hell? I was 2 feet from him, and he just talked to me. Like, that little stuff, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the little things for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's from High Point, North Carolina, which is literally 15 minutes from me, maybe 20 minutes. So,
and he's
it's the
engaged
little
to a
things
Hooters
for me.
waitress, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah, so for me as a driver, it's not based on performance. It's really more the personality. Is he, so full of himself where he's just going to sign and go on his way, or like you said, have a small conversation. Because I mean, for a race fan, if I had a driver do that same thing to me, I'm hooked.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm hooked just because he took 1 second to acknowledge that I said something to him and waved at me, and here I am. So,
and you can ask Kinsey, but she's even told me before, because she sees like his interviews, and then she listens, like I kind of show her like some of his in-car radio, because obviously she hears me sometimes when I'm racing, and she's like, literally, y'all are the same person. Like, you're cool, calm outside of the car, but you put that, mine's a fake helmet, he puts the real helmet on, and holy shit, you don't want to be on y'all's bad side. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's just that. I think that's why I like him too, because like I really do feel like we are kind of the same person. Like, outside of the car, you're not gonna make me mad. You're not. It's just, I'm cool, but you get me in that race car, especially like on Sunday nights for A Squared. I've had some clippable moments of me talking shit for sure. So it's kind of cool to be like, hey, Ryan Blaney's just like me. Like, you talk to him after the race or before the race or whatever. He's like, yeah, the car's pretty good. We'll see what happens. But when he's in the car, he's like, what the fuck, NASCAR? I don't even know if I can say fuck on YouTube, but I did anyway. So
we did.
We did it. We're done. We're canceled. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, we're the same person. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like, I have the same personality as my favorite driver. Like, hell, I mean, I couldn't pull for Denny Hamlin because Denny Hamlin's a fucking douchebag. Like,
I know what you really wanted to say. Yeah, we'll go with the douchebag.
I will say, and I've said this before, I'm not a huge Denny Hamlin fan. I still don't really like him on the racetrack, but listening to his podcast, I have gained a little more respect for Denny Hamlin.
100% agreed.
Yeah,
100% agreed.
Because he does his podcast, and he will just say what's on his mind, and that's important.
Tell how it is.
Yeah, that's important. The real question is, and I got to talk to D-Bucks, if the cleaning lady ever found your vape from Atlanta.
That is a great question, because I know me and Federal Place like tore that house down. We could not find it, but it is what it is. I think
Reynolds stole it.
And that's the thing. Like me, I think me and Federal Place were talking about this. We were both like, we don't want to say that happened, because I think everybody that was there is a stand-up person.
Yeah.
But that's the only way that thing would have just gone missing like that. But
it was probably Tri-Strand. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, he probably stole it.
I
He
just
don't
never
even
even.
vape, buddy. I guarantee you he stole it.
I mean, hell, I even threw the possibility. I was like, hell, maybe someone was cleaning cans, after
Hmm.
one of the big nights we drank it and accidentally, threw it in the trash.
Thought
I
it was
remember
a
I
beer
was,
can.
yeah, I remember I jump into the dumpster and started tearing trash bags up just looking. Uh, it wasn't even there, so I took all possibilities, of where it could have been. But yeah, don't know what it is. Got me a new one. So I got me a souvenir,
Yeah.
and then Beamster left his vape that he bought down there, and I still got it. So
Yep. I think
so
we got
I went.
Feemster hooked on vaping.
I think we did.
I think we did. I think
Yeah.
we made a terrible mistake. I mean, he's like, cause when he got back home, he's like, yeah, I just got me a new vape, and I'm like, oh, you're a vapor now, dude. Like,
Yeah, you're a vapor.
I mean, I don't.
Once you go, you won't go back.
No, I mean, I don't have the fancy. I just have a. These breezes are only sold in Michigan. Well, not only in Michigan, but they don't have them in Georgia. So I had to get one of those geek bars when I went down there because mine died, and
I had to get me one too
oh my
because
god, yeah.
I couldn't find mine. I was going
But
crazy.
Feemster had him a little geek bar, and he got back home and he was like, I just got me a geek bar for 50% less down there in Atlanta. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you live in the middle of fucking nowhere, dude. Like, yeah, they're not going to be as expensive as they were in the city. Like, what do you expect? But yeah, Feemster, sorry if we got you addicted to vaping, but it's supposedly
And
healthier. I don't know. That's what the
I mean,
CDC
I think
says.
it is. I mean, my mom disagrees with me. She goes, "Oh, it still hurts." I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it has to be somewhat a
Yeah,
little bit more healthier.
it's got to be a little bit better than puffing in nicotine tar through your
Yeah,
lungs. I mean,
exactly. I think the big thing is the tar.
yeah,
With this, I feel like it's a little bit cleaner. But that's just me. I know probably some other people probably disagree with that. But
yeah. Well, fuck them.
there we go. But
Uh,
talking about Feemster, I was actually surprised how me and Feemster kind of got along.
yeah.
Like, and the thing is, like, the only way I remember Feemster is he designed my A Square car.
Hmm.
Um, I told him that I was like, because I think I was talking to Kent because I was having trouble with my trading paints where I couldn't edit anything. I couldn't, put the banner on.
Yeah.
I think my PayPal got hacked
Hack.
or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know what
Jesus.
it was. And so the only way I could have Trader Paints if I had like a totally different car, which I'm not doing. Um, and so I asked Kent. I was like, hey, who's a good person to ask, to help me, edit my car so I could actually run A Square without, getting a penalty.
Hmm.
He goes, talk to Feemster. I'm like, okay. So I started talking to Feemster. I was like, hey, here's a car I want to run, but I want the banner. And so he actually, I'm pretty sure he designed the car just from the picture I took, and it's basically spot on.
Yeah.
The only person that had said anything about the car was my dad, because my
Hmm.
dad is, like I said, both my parents are born and raised in West Virginia. That's the main reason I kind of drove that car. I mean, one, I'm a big time West Virginia fan, and two, that's where all my family's from.
Yeah.
So, um, and I told my mom I was doing this, this league race, and she goes, "Well, how am I going to know it's you?" I'm like, "Easy, I'll run a West Virginia car. It's easy for you to spot."
Hmm.
So if anybody's curious why I'm running a West Virginia car, that's why. Um, and so it was funny because my dad was watching one of our races one time, and I think he told my mom, and my mom told me, he goes, "You do know that the state of West Virginia car is backwards, right?" I'm like, "Is it?" And so I started looking. I'm actually looking right now. I'm looking at my screen right now, and yeah, it's mirrored.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first conversation I had with him. So I was like, "You do know that the state of West Virginia is actually mirrored on our car?" He goes, "It is?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, we'll get it fixed." But yeah, for some reason I don't know why, but me and Feemster really just like connected like really quick. Like I know I've talked to you
Yeah.
like when we had some voice chats and stuff like that, but me and Feemster really never really talked unless I messaged him.
Mm-hmm.
And so um and to be honest with you, I actually didn't know Feemster was coming. I actually
Yeah.
really didn't know who was coming because I was kind of one of those late arrivals, so I really didn't know exactly what was the actual people that was coming. And once I found out that was Feemster, we started talking, and I mean, we just hit it off after that. So, um, really looking forward to seeing Feemster again for sure.
Yeah, he's fun for sure. He's been to the last two now. He went to Darlington. Um, we had a badass house in Darlington. I mean, we were
Yeah,
probably 100 yard. We were probably a football field away from the beach. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really pushed Darlington for that year, because I was like, hey, we stayed in, it was actually Surfside, which is south of Myrtle Beach, because you don't want to you don't want to stay in Myrtle Beach. That's tourists, and you don't want to be there. So
yeah,
I picked the house that was in Surfside, and I mean, we had a badass house. The and Bristol Dirt, I picked that house. I picked the Talladega house. That one was not good. We were in the middle of the fucking ghetto. Oh my god, that one was scary. But this year I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So I let Dustin handle it. And he did a great job. I mean, we had an awesome house.
absolutely.
We had a pool table. We had a hot tub. It was like
That hot tub was lit.
yeah, we had
I'll
like
tell you right now, that hot tub was lit.
we had like a 2 mile walk down to the river, which I never went down there because
I never did.
I didn't know if I would be able to get back up. That was, going down. Yeah, I can go down, but coming back up, halfway up, I might have a heart attack. So that's
For me, it was just way too far from the beer.
yeah,
So,
exactly. I mean, I was like, you know what? I'm not going down there. Let Reynolds go down there. He's young. He can tell me what it
yeah,
looked like, and fuck it. I
I'll
ain't
picture it in my head.
exactly. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was a
Mhm.
blast.
I hate that we didn't find out that the pool table was actually a ping pong table too,
I know, man.
till like the last night.
Yeah, literally one of the last nights, I think, or was it a night, or no, it was a day. I think it was a day that people were leaving. We figured out that it was a ping pong table.
It was either right after the cup race, or so that Sunday, or that Monday night we found out it was a ping pong table.
I think it was that Monday because I know I played Feemster and Reynolds. Um, I think you were. Did you go golfing on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
See, I didn't go
We went
golfing, so
golfing Friday. You went golfing Friday with us, and then
yeah,
we went
that
golfing
was
again
awful.
Monday. Um,
Me and
yeah.
golf
So
don't mix. That's just not my strength. Look, I'm not good at a lot of things. I'm good at drinking beer. That's about all I got. But
yeah.
golf, fuck off. I ain't.
I'll tell you this: you did very good drinking beer on that golf course. I'll tell you
Oh
that
yeah.
much.
Oh, every time that cart girl came around, I was like, "Let me get two. Let me get two, please. Let me get two."
That's ooh, that cart girl. Ooh.
Mm,
I've
yeah.
never seen a cart girl before. I guess I've never been on the nicest courses we played on.
Yeah.
I was like,
You playing in
man,
Georgia? Oof.
I gotta go to some more golf courses that have cart girls. 'Cause holy cow,
Yeah, I can't talk too
she was
much.
bad.
Yeah, I
She
can't.
was bad.
Yeah, I can't. No comment. No comment. No comment.
I'll talk about her.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Let's see. We got Patrick Allen in the chat. He said, "Oh God, they're drinking." Of course we are. That's
I
what we
mean,
do.
what else do you expect? That's what
Yeah.
exactly.
Brandon Fetterplace said, "My dad was awesome. Glad he got to meet him this year." I'm glad you got to meet him too. Everybody should at least meet my dad once.
At least once.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He
Yeah.
drinks beer just like all of us. He loves NASCAR. I have tried. He has used when I used to live with him before I moved to Michigan. I tried to get him to try my rig, and I think what it is just that age of people, like my dad's age, monitors and stuff, they can't fathom like that they're looking at it, but their eyes are like, it doesn't, no, it's not real, it's fake. So he didn't like it. He was like, yeah, I mean, it's cool, like, because I let him try my Fanatec, and I was like, yeah, like dry, like you can, and he was amazed. He was like, this is this literally feels like I'm in a race car, and I'm like, yeah, that's what direct drives do. Like you feel like you're running in a real race car. He's like, yeah, but I just can't. His eyes couldn't connect to what he was seeing. I guess because he's old. I don't know. Fuck, I have no idea. But yeah, I tried to get him into it, but he was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll stick to driving my F-150 to work every day, and that's my iRacing.
My dad's actually kind of different. So when I had my parents over for my daughter's birthday one time, I think we came back to my place just to get out of the heat because my daughter is born in July, and he came in, and a couple of my buddies started jumping on my rig. I put him in a little test session to drive cars, and I was like, "Dad, you need to try it." He goes, I won't be good at it. I won't be good at it. The minute he got on that thing, you couldn't get that guy off there.
Yeah, got hooked.
Yeah.
I think my dad liked it too, but he didn't want to admit it. He was like, okay, this is pretty cool, but
so I think I put my dad in an '87 car, and I put him in Talladega.
That's your problem right there.
I think he did 30 straight laps, just knocking down laps. I'm like,
did you?
Let's buy you a rig.
I'm changing subjects here, but did you? You left the day after I did, right?
Yeah, I left Tuesday.
Okay. So, funny story. I don't remember who was in the car. I think it was me, Feemster, Withers. I don't know I think that was it. But anyway, so Withers is taking us to the airport because I think he left Tuesday too. And
he drove me to the airport.
Yeah. So it was me, Withers, Feemster, and maybe one other, but I think it was just us three. Anyway, he puts in his GPS, like I'm thinking he puts in.
Oh, I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this one.
I'm thinking he puts in Atlanta Airport, and I'm looking at his GPS and it's like 25 minutes, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right, but I'm not gonna say anything. He knows what he's doing. And anyway, we're going through these, just strange roads, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, 10 minutes, and I'm like, no, there ain't.
We're not.
Yeah, I was like,
no,
I don't think, but whatever. Then we get down, I see his phone, and it's like, okay, 5 minutes from your destination, and I'm like, 5 minutes? I'm like, no fucking way. I'm like, I don't see a tower, I don't see planes, like,
right,
something's not right here. But
because you're driving through a major major highway when you get in there.
Yeah. So I'm like, whatever, it's probably not a whatever. He knows what he's doing. Anyway, so it gets to like 2 minutes. It's like 2 minutes to your destination, and I'm like, okay, now I know something's not right. And his GPS goes, turn right, and you have arrived at your destination. And we go at about the same time it says that. I see Atlanta Motor Speedway, and I'm like, Withers, did you just fucking put in Atlanta Motor Speedway in your GPS? He's like, oh, shit. And I'm like, bro, we got flights to catch. Like, what are you doing, dude? So he took us to Atlanta Motor Speedway, which is 30 minutes out of the way, like the opposite direction. So then he's like, oh, shit. So he puts in Atlanta Airport. Now we're 35 minutes from the Atlanta Airport, and I'm like, Withers, I'm gonna fucking strangle you, dude. Like what the fuck? And so we finally got there, and that's why Feemster forgot his vape, because we're all rushing, because we got to fucking
trying to get out of the car, trying to get to
we got to haul ass to fucking check our bags and then get into the security line. And so I was like, God damn, dude.
I remember seeing that on the Discord. I think me and Painter read it at the same time. We were literally about to start rolling on the floor.
I was so pissed. I was like, you literally took us back to the fucking speedway, dude. They're not racing. It's Monday. The race is over. So I did get to see Atlanta Motor Speedway on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, right before I left and flew back to Detroit. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, Feemster's flight was a lot closer than mine, because I was flying Spirit, so I knew it was going to get delayed by 30-40 minutes anyway, so I wasn't really worried. But Feemster was cutting it close. So he, like, when we got into the airport, I was like, hey man, I gave him a hug. I was like, good to see you again. I know you got to haul ass. I don't, so good luck. And he made it. I think he had like 10 or 15 minutes left over. Luckily, I had like an hour still, so I was able to go get a beer and get some food. So there's nothing better than an airport beer. Oh, my God. I mean, it might cost $8.50, but
it's ridiculous.
Damn, there's nothing better than an airport beer. I swear that's one of the best things when you're about to get on that plane, get you a couple airport beers. Oh,
yeah.
Just really puts
you. We go for a break, because I could use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, we'll do a break. Let me mute my mic, because otherwise people can hear me piss.
Right.
So yeah,
I'll be back
I got to get a beer too. So yeah, we'll be back here in a second.
Good. All right, thank you.
Look at there, perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Got me another beer.
Same here. I got a little bit in this one, so I'll grab me another one.
So 2025, what's your plans? You You looking to get drafted again? What team are you hoping to be on?
Well, yeah, I'm definitely running 2025, definitely for A squared. As for teams, Better Place has been uh, pretty pretty adamant about me driving for him, which honestly I think that would be a great fit for me. I mean, kind of like I kind of talked before. Better Place has really taught me a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to be able to be with Better Place, but it is a draft, so anything could happen
Yeah, you
and
never
probably
know.
will happen. Um, Honestly, man, regardless of who drafts me, I'm going to give it 110% every single time. Continue to try to grow with my skill set and everything like that. I think I was like one of three drivers that actually ran every single race, so
Yep.
um, I think that would be very
That's huge for owners. I'm telling you right now. As an
yeah,
owner, it's that's huge. Like,
yeah,
because we all struggled with people not showing up, and if you give me somebody that can win and they only show up for you know 15 of the 26 races versus somebody that can finish 10th to 13th but will be there every single week.
Eh, those are
I'm pick,
easy points.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm picking that guy. So trust me, you Brandon Fetterplace might think that you're going to be on his team, but I'm telling you, man, that you look, everybody has been watching this whole year, and he ain't the only one that's looking at you. You know,
Yeah.
you know,
It's funny because
presidential racing. You know, hey, I'm coming back full time. You know,
yeah,
the cat's out of the
after all
bag.
the talk about you retiring, here you are again.
Well, to be fair, I will not be running in other series unless it's a super speedway or
Right.
something that I feel like I would enjoy. But yeah, A squared. I got to give it one last run. I didn't make the playoffs this year.
Same.
Just
I missed by 5 points.
yeah, I missed just because I had honestly the two subs I used it would I used Cody at Texas. He got wrecked. It just didn't really get me any points whatsoever. And then I used Carmen at Watkins Glen, and she got wrecked, and then she kind of wrecked herself once, and then she kind of just sat on pit road for the rest of the race. So I was like, well, fuck, I might as well just not even got points. I mean, they still
Right.
got me points, but I was thinking Cody at Texas, he loves that track. He's gonna get me good points. No, he ain't get nothing. And then Carmen, I'm like, she's great at road courses, perfect, nothing. And I'm like, God damn it! Like, why can't I fucking get a sub that goes and wins a race like Tommy Reynolds or some shit like that? But yeah, this
Yeah.
year I'm putting in work. I'm not going to be running other series full time, so I'm going to try and actually practice. I'm going to try and, just figure out how I can get faster. I already told Brandon Fetterplace we're going to have, if he's on board, which I think he is, presidential racing, and if he has a team this year, which more than likely he will, we're going to have a little alliance there and
Okay.
try
All right.
and help you. I mean, I'm not going to be able to help him at all, except for maybe at super speedways because I'm pretty good there. But I'm gonna be kind of leaning on him. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. So like I remember when Tom Sears drafted me, he asked, he goes, well, how many races you going to be able to run? I was like, I'm easily going to be able to at least run at least 80% of the races.
Yeah,
He goes, well, what about the 20%? I was like, well, with my work, I go on call almost at least one weekend every week
Mm-hmm.
where, um, I could be stuck at work, on an emergency call, doing whatever.
Yeah.
And luckily, I think there was only one time I was cutting close to make a race, and I think that was the uh, Daytona Duel and qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually scheduled to do another call, and this was like at 7 o'clock, I think. I knew I was cutting close because I think no, actually, no, it was probably about 6:30 at the time because I think qualifying started at 7. And I was like, looks like I'm not going to make qualifying. I remember having the conversation with Kent. I was like, hey, if I miss, I was like, what does it mean? He goes, oh, you're just starting back for the 500. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden that call got canceled. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I literally got home 15 minutes before qualifying start,
Yep.
and I had no practice, no nothing. I literally jumped in the car, ran my qualifying lap, and next thing you know, I was P2 in qualifying. I was like, oh,
I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
did not expect that, you know? And
Yeah.
uh and so yeah, that was the only race I really had a conflict. And then what I started telling my work was because we can have like even though we're on call, we can still have like a blackout time.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it's like a dinner or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, I just kept telling them like, listen, from 5:30 to 9, I'm
Yeah.
unavailable.
Yeah.
You know,
Can't help you.
I was like, if
At
a
10 p.m. I'll come in, but yeah.
yeah, so I told them like, listen, if something comes in and I'm racing, I'll go out after the race. And I
Mm-hmm.
actually had to do that one time. Actually, I can't remember what race it was, but once that race ended, I actually went out to a call, and I think I worked till almost midnight that night. But it is what it is. Um, but yeah, surprisingly, I was able to run every single race, which I wanted to do because I knew I wasn't going to be like a top 5 car every single race. Top 10 maybe, if
Yeah.
if I didn't get caught up in any wrecks or any stuff like that. But I definitely knew I could be at least a top 15 car and a top 10 car every single race. And
Yeah. A squared's the only series that if I finish 10th, I am
yeah, that's a win for
ecstatic.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's a win
mean,
for me.
I run TNT. I've been running TNT for 7, 8 seasons. I run. I mean, fuck, I won ARCS Fast Fridays championship.
Hmm.
Fuck, I don't know how I did that, but I did it. And even on Saturdays with high octane, like I know I can, be up there top 5. A squared, ain't no fucking way you're gonna see me in the top 5 unless everybody else wrecks. Which this year or next year, no fast repairs.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Yep.
that idea. Yeah.
The rule book dropped 3
I
days
haven't I
ago.
haven't read the rule book yet.
Yeah,
I have not.
read it because
Um,
there's some changes. No fast repairs this year. We are also doing incident points limits. So we're not DQing anyone based off incident points, but if you get 20 incident points, you will have to serve a drive-through penalty under green flag. And then I think it's every 8 incident points after that, you have to serve another one. So 20 incident points, that's basically 5 times that you can run into someone, because usually when you hit someone or you hit the wall, it's a 4X. So 5 times. You get to hit someone 5 times basically, and then it gets you that 20X. Another huge things that we changed was, the at fault cautions and the at-fault incidents, I was very, very strongly. I told Ken, I was like, it's got to be together. You can't have, because what I was doing as someone that loves to look at rules and try and break them is, okay, I may have 5 at-fault cautions, but I have 0 at-fault incidents. So I can go to Brandon Fetter Place knowing that I can bump the shit out of him, and he has enough talent to save that race car. The caution's not going to come out. So, yeah, give me an at-fault incident. I don't give a shit. Who cares? I'm at 0 out of 5. It's not going to affect me. So we are changing that as well. Now it's all grouped together. And you get one warning, one freebie. After that, it's 3 points. Your second offense, it's 6 points. Your third offense is 9 points. So every offense you have, it's times 3. So if you have your fifth offense, that's 15 points that you get. Yeah. Now you can change that if you have 3 clean races. I can't remember if we settled on 3 or 4. I got to go through it too, because we kind of made some amendments. But if you have 3 clean races or 4 clean races, it resets you kind of back almost to 0, almost, if you want to say that. But I think this year or next year, it's going to be so much fun. Kind of tightening up the penalties a little bit. We're going to have iRacing cautions this year or next year. So, it won't be like, oh, that wasn't a caution. It's iRacing's call. If iRacing doesn't call it and 2 people wreck, then the admins will throw it. But, also, the schedule hasn't dropped yet, but let me just say.
So, here it comes.
Let me just say, and I don't know if I can say this, but I'm the owner of the series, so I can say whatever the fuck I want to. There might be some Tennessee red clay in y'all's future.
Ooh.
We'll just leave it at that.
And the thing is, like, I've actually really started getting into dirt racing. Like, not like, I mean, especially when the mini stocks dropped, because when I heard the teaser about mini stocks, I actually got to race mini stocks in real life. Well, I wouldn't say I raced them. I actually raced in a series below a mini stock. But my ex-wife used to drive a mini stock, and when I started dating her, her dad actually let me drive what's called, well, here in North Carolina, they would call them a extreme car or a U car series, which is a 4-cylinder front wheel drive car.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the series I was a part of in real life. So I actually got to, I guess, drive a race car in real life. But she used to drive a mini stock, and I actually got to test that a couple times. They were like, "Hey, you want to jump in?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Hell yeah.
So when I heard iRacing was dropping mini stocks, I was like, "When is this coming out?" I'm excited, And I think it was right before. I think the mini stocks dropped the week before the Atlanta retreat, and I remember when that dropped. Like, that's all I did. I did mini stocks. I did mini stock asphalt as well as dirt. And the more I started doing mini stocks on dirt, I was like, this is fun. And
it is.
But the one series I've really got into is like the Lucas Oil Truck series. Yeah, I don't know if you ever drove those.
Yeah, those are fun.
that is if you haven't like if you hate dirt, but you want to have some fun on some dirt, drive a Lucas Oil truck car.
Yeah.
Those things are a ball to drive. I wish we would have a series for Lucas Oil in ARCS, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Jeremy tried that. We didn't do the trucks, but we did the rally cross, like the Ford Fiestas,
Okay, yeah,
VW Bugs, like all those, and just, I mean, we just didn't have people show up. Like it was,
that makes sense.
everybody enjoys it, but when you start putting competition to it, it's like, oh no, I don't. I mean,
People get butt hurt.
yeah, it's the same.
Because
It's the same
stuff
with
happens.
it's
Yeah.
the same with ARX. Like tonight on asphalt, we have 14 drivers. Last week on dirt, we have 6. It's like, yeah, everybody sees dirt and they're like, I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
I mean, personally, me, I like running dirt. I wish I would
I
run
love
more
it.
dirt cars, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get into a rhythm where I'm actually learning how to drive on dirt.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time I drove on dirt, I was shitty, dude. I couldn't figure out the right, like I was like, oh well, in a dirt car you want to ride the wall because that's where the speed is. And I think I was driving a street stock on dirt one time. I'm over here riding the wall like in real life, and everybody's running the bottom,
Yep.
just flying right by me. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not doing something right here, So
I've
yeah.
struggled. I've struggled with dirt racing since they updated the tire wear,
Mhm.
just because, before I knew that the car didn't have any tire wear, so I could just go. I could just push it. Didn't matter. Tires weren't going to wear. That's something I've struggled with since they kind of brought tire wear into dirt. But I mean, I love dirt racing. That's, I think 2 of my championships in ARCS are in dirt
On
racing.
dirt, yeah.
Yeah, 410 sprints used to be, I mean, dude, there was a time there, this is probably 2 years ago, but I ran a series where it was the 410 sprint cars, and it was before tire wear. It was, again, we ran mostly bigger tracks. We didn't really go to super small dirt tracks, but man, there was a time where I was hard to beat in the 410 sprint car. I mean, I felt like I was something. And now it's a little bit different with the tire wear. I just
Yeah.
hadn't figured it out yet. But yeah, hopefully next year we'll have it'll be Bristol Dirt if we do get it added to the schedule, because that's really the only one that you can find a setup for the Cup car, the next gen car. So
Unfortunately, yeah.
yeah, I'd love to do Eldora. I think Eldora would be so much fun.
Eldora would be lit.
Yeah,
for sure.
that'd be fun. So I mean, we haven't settled 100% on the track, but at that I think it's probably leaning towards Bristol Dirt just because they've been there before. It makes sense. But yeah, so maybe I'll get a top 3 because that's about the only time
Yeah.
I'll ever get a top 3. I finished 3rd. I think it was 2 years ago when we did Bristol Dirt. I finished 3rd. I think Joshua Gaiman won, and I don't remember who finished 2nd, but that was probably my only top 5 finish in A squared. So we're going to try and get a good finish if we do add that to the schedule, but we'll see. I'm giving you all some scoop on the 2025 season.
A little spoil. I like
Mhm.
it. Yeah. I like it.
Only like 5 people will see this anyway or listen to it, so nobody will even know.
That's why you got to watch it.
Yeah, at least and the 5 people that watch know that we might be going to Bristol Dirt next year. So, what do
I
you
like it.
what do
I
you
like
do?
it. Yeah. I like it.
So, what is your plan? I know you said, focusing on A squared next year, but any other series that kind of interest you? maybe not even in 2025, but just the remainder of this year and then going into 2025.
Well, definitely any of the series that are running on the weekends, I'm
Yeah.
definitely planning on running. Uh, Usually Monday through Thursday with work, it's more unpredictable if I can make races.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, this week, today was the first day I went off call. So the way my work on call schedule goes is we go from Friday to Thursday on call. So um, once Friday starts, if there's any after hour emergencies that they're willing to pay the dispatch fee, which is crazy amount of money just for me to knock on a door just to take a look at the issue. Um, uh, Usually after hours for me to knock on your door just to look at what you're going on is $169 just for me to knock on a door.
Hell yeah.
You know, that is that's just for me to, hey, this is
Hi.
what yeah. Hi, I'm here to look at your issue. $169 plus the repair
Mm,
to take care of your issue. It's $169 plus whatever. Um, so um, so we start on Friday, and so I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, uh, and I'll basically Saturdays and Sundays is if there's a call,
mm,
and then Monday through Thursday, you know, I'm basically working from 9 a.m. to when there's no more calls. That's basically how on call works. So,
mm,
for instance, this week, since I just got off call, Tuesday I worked till 11
mm,
p.m. Wednesday I worked till 9:30, and then yesterday I worked till 11 again.
mm.
So, so, so for me to commit to a series, even part time during the week, is extremely hard for me
Tough. Yeah.
because I never know when I'm going to get home. So really, the weekend series are more where I'm more available, especially like the race we ran today, uh, A squared on Sundays, late models now since we're not doing A squared. I've been running late models more. Um, Saturdays, I kind of leave that more open because that's more my day to spend time with my daughter.
Yeah.
Because I only get my daughter on the weekends, so I try to leave that free for her because she might want to go visit some friends. Because me and my longtime friend that I mean we've been friends since we were probably like 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's like he's my best friend. Um, so and that now he has a daughter. Now my daughter and his daughter are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So she's constantly like, "Hey, can we go see Lily? Can we go see
Yeah.
Lily?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll go see Lily." So, usually, sometimes I'm not home on Saturdays. So usually Fridays and Saturdays are the one time I can really commit to a league to where,
Yeah.
I can say, yeah, I can race there. I can race for points. I can go out there, have fun. If there's a Saturday that I'm free, who knows? I might run a truck series race. I probably still need to apply for that league. But yeah, if there's a Monday or a Thursday race that that's running that I feel like run a race, yeah, I'll run anything. I'll run anything that has wheels on it. So
Same.
um, so it just depends on my schedule. My schedule's very hectic with work, especially with what I do. So um, I'm I'm just going to play it by ear for now,
Yeah.
and but definitely Fridays and Sundays. Those are my days that I definitely want to run. I might jump into some open lobbies, some official races during the week if time allows me to. But for especially for races in ARCS, Fridays or Sundays are my my days I want to be with you guys for sure.
Yeah. Everybody has, the nights that they can race, the nights they can't race. So that's understandable. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody wants to run 6 nights a week, but, we all have lives. We all have jobs. We all have, family, friends, significant others. And you can't always do it 6 nights a week. That's what I've
Yeah, I mean,
realized.
and if I had let's say a regular 9 to 5 job where I knew I was getting off at this time,
Yeah.
I'll probably be racing 7 days a week for sure.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in the trades and plumbing,
Yeah. Doesn't work
I
that
don't get
way.
that luxury,
Mm-hmm.
There's days that, I might work, a regular 8 hour shift where I go in at, well, technically it's not really 8 hours, it's probably
Mm-hmm.
9 hours. I could work a 8 to 5 and I'll be home at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, sometimes I don't get that luxury.
Yeah.
It just depends on um when they send me to my last call and how long it takes me to do that job. So, especially with the company I work with, I might go to a job where one customer might request a 1 hour repair, where the other customer might choose a 8 hour repair,
Mm-hmm.
where, I'm working, a lot longer. So,
Yep. It's hard to commit to something when you don't know when you
yeah.
don't know when your job's gonna
So,
end. So I have that
yeah. So,
luxury of working, at 5 p.m. I go home. It's
exactly.
there
I
is
don't get
no
that.
yeah, there is no yeah, I mean I might work, 15, 20 minutes late, to wrap up a project I'm working on, but it's not like I'm gonna stay there till 8 p.m. I'm at 6 p.m. at the latest, I'm out of there. I'm going home. 7:30. I'm at home in my rig. Getting ready for the race. It's different than being like, well, I don't know. It might be 5. It might be 10. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
I think if you ask any person that works in a trade, if it's a plumber, heat and air, electrical,
yeah,
whatever, um, if I think probably the most aggravating question you probably could ask a tradesman is when you're going to get off,
yeah. Like, hell,
because
I don't know.
I guarantee you the answer they're always going to give you is I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 90% of the time, that's what they're going to tell you. I don't know. I'm gonna I'll be home when the job's done. And
Yeah,
that's unfortunately
that's it.
that's what it is.
Yep.
It's not us, trying to avoid the question. It's the honest truth,
Yeah. Like, well, I don't know.
I mean, sometimes a 1 hour, I go to a job, even if a customer's, wants me to do a certain job and they sign, the dotted line, on the estimate, I could be like, oh, this will take me 1 hour. Well, guess what? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
shit happens, and next thing you know, I'm there for 5 hours.
Yep.
So it's a thing where, you know, it my job is so unpredictable where I don't want to I can't commit to anything during the week because I never know when
Yeah.
I'm be off.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but unfortunately that's the job I chose.
Hey.
That's what I
Yeah.
signed to get paid for.
It pays the
So
bills. That's what you got to do.
and it pays the bill. So
Yeah. That's the most important thing. All right. Well, we'll wrap this thing up here. I got to go to work tomorrow, unfortunately. But any questions or last comments you have for me, or just anything you want to talk about, we'll open it to you.
I mean, honestly, I don't. Be honest with you, like the entire. I guess the only. Well, I think I've heard this in previous podcasts. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you probably been asked this question a bunch of times. I guess my main thing is, the origin of ARCS to begin with. I'm sure you probably answered that a bunch of times. I can't remember the true answer. I knew it probably started with Heat, with NASCAR Heat, just like probably all of us have started from. Um, but really, I mean, I've totally enjoyed this league. I think it's real well ran. Um, I mean, even with Matt Kent, we actually did a draft in the Rally Racing League,
Yep.
one year. So, and actually, the first driver I drafted was Del Markowski, to be honest with you. And that was back before me and him actually really became friends. He was I think he's probably the only driver on art. Well, prior to Atlanta, let me put
Yeah.
that out there. Prior to Atlanta, Del Markowski is the only person that I have on my phone that, um, usually after every A square race, we're texting each other, race debriefs,
Hmm.
like, like how our race went, how we felt about race, how stupid something happened in between the race, that kind like if we have a caution fest, like, oh, that was a wreck
Yeah,
fest
that was
kind of thing.
rough. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like, especially with, Matt Kent, kind of running things, it's almost kind of just what we had in NASCAR Heat. So yeah, I guess I feel like I remember you saying that it started on Xbox. Is that right?
It did. Yep. Yep. We started on
Okay, okay,
Xbox. Yep.
okay.
We so the story behind that is I found a couple people, and we ran a couple races, and at first it was, it was kind of during COVID. Um, Obviously that's
So
kind of how
that was
yeah, that's kind of how we started,
that's the
because
whole thing started. Yeah.
yeah, everybody didn't have anywhere to go. You couldn't go to the damn, you know, restaurants. You couldn't do anything. So we, I was on some online lobbies. I met a couple people. Jason Alexander. He doesn't race with us much anymore, but he was one of the first people that I met. And yeah, I happened to get like, 7 or 8 people, and I was like, hey, let's do a race on Sunday nights if y'all are free. And they're like, yeah, I mean, because we don't have to go to work on Monday, because we were either working from home or we're furloughed, so yeah, we'll run a race at 8 p.m. Yeah, no problem.
That was the
And
same with Kent.
yeah,
To be
and
honest with you, we ran on Sundays.
yeah. So yeah, we ran like 3 or 4 races, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not keeping points, but secretly I was keeping points. And then after probably the 4th or 5th race, I was like, hey, um, by the way, I was keeping points, and here's the point standings after 5 races. And everybody was like, oh, we knew you were keeping points. I'm like, yeah, no, y'all didn't know shit. No, we knew you were keeping points. So I had points. It was on an Excel spreadsheet. I think I still have the original Excel spreadsheet on my computer. But I was like, yeah, I'm keeping points. So we finished out that season. TNT and A squared were kind of separate. At the time, it's kind of like us in HTL and ABN now. Like at that time, it was A squared and TNT. If somebody needed a sub in TNT, they would kind of pull from A squared, which at the time it was called Above Average NASCAR Heat Friends. That was our original name, which was the dumbest.
Okay.
It was the dumbest name ever. I don't know why I came up with that, but that's what I came up with. I started a Facebook group above average NASCAR Heat 4 friends. I invited, these people as they came in. I was like, oh, yeah, we have a Facebook group, because we didn't even do Discord at that time. Discord was, no one knew what Discord was. That was actually Tristan. Tri-Strain got us into Discord. He was like, hey, there's this thing called Discord. But yeah, so we after probably the first full season of TNT and A Squared, we were like, hey, a lot of our drivers are kind of like back and forth, they're running in TNT and they're also running in A Squared. Because I will never forget the first time I ran TNT, I actually subbed for the driver at the time. I don't remember his name. Somebody probably could fact check me, but he was in the 12 car and he was going to miss the race. So he needed a sub, and I was like, hey, yeah, I can run. So I ran the 12 car in TNT, and I was like, that kind of, because originally on NASCAR Heat, I was a custom paint scheme, custom car number 15, because when I played basketball in high school, my number was 15. So 15 was just kind of what I went with. It was before I was a huge Ryan Blaney fan. And then I got to sub in the 12, and then Ryan Blaney, moved into the 12, and I was like, well, yeah, 12 car's mine. Like, nobody take that. But then after that first season, me and Rick James, Thomas Andrews, Tom Sears, Terry Gabbard, which a lot of people don't know, we all kind of came together and we were like, hey, let's, we're all kind of the same drivers. Like, we're all kind of using the same driver pool here. We're running on Thursdays, we're running on Sundays. Why don't we just combine this and say, hey, everybody come run on Thursdays, everybody come run on Sundays. And I think Rick James is actually the one that came up with the ARCS, which is the Alliance Racing Championship Series, because we at the time were like, TNT and A Squared, we're an alliance, let's come together and have a championship series. And so that's where ARCS was born. And then TNT has stayed true to what they are since day one. I mean, it is long runs, no cautions, old school points. That's what they've been since day one. But then A Squared, like, we started to grow on the Xbox, and it got to a point where it's like, we got too many people. So we started a truck series, or an Xfinity series. And then our Xfinity series got to where it was like, okay, there's too many people here too. So we started a truck series. We actually even had an ARCA series, which ran the Xfinity cars, but it was like new people. So like, if somebody came in during the middle of the season, we were like, yeah, we can't put you in Cup, we can't put you in Xfinity, and we can't put you in truck because we don't really know you. So we would put them in ARCA. And if they were good, we would promote them to truck. They'd move to Xfinity. Honestly, that was the coolest thing, because we literally had a tier system. Like, you had to work your way up to Cup Series. You couldn't just run Cup. Like, no, you're not going to do that. But you could start in ARCA, and if you won 2 races in a row, you could move to trucks. And then if you won another couple races, you move to Xfinity. You won a couple races there, welcome to Cup. It was crazy. Like,
what's funny about that is we kind of did the same thing in the Raggy Racing League with Kent. So I think this is probably season 3. I think we adopted that kind of thing in NASCAR Heat 5, where we had a truck series, Xfinity series, and a Cup series. And so, of course, the people that been with our league since season one was already eligible for the Cup Series.
Mm-hmm.
And then all our new recruits, we had, recruitment races, and we would have all the drivers run the recruitment races, and the admins would actually rank all the drivers depending on their finishes, their performance, their driving etiquette, all that kind of thing. And we would actually set those drivers into different tiers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure Kent probably can fact check me on this, but if you finish in the top three in points in a series, you got promoted up to the next series.
Yep.
So if you were in trucks, you finished top three, you moved up to Xfinity. Top three in Xfinity, you move up to Cup.
Yep.
And I love the idea of it because I was always in the Cup Series because I was I've been with that league since season one,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to drive. I was able to watch these races. We actually broadcast the trucks and Xfinity races. I was actually part of the broadcast team because we used to broadcast our races on YouTube,
Yep.
and there was a bunch of times that um, uh, I think I would broadcast the trucks series races. I'll see all these drivers. I'm like, they got some skill. And
Mm-hmm.
then next thing you know, they're racing with me, and I'm like, okay, I'm excited. I'm excited, for some fresh blood, and
Mm-hmm.
from the normal race. And then if you finish in the bottom 3 points of a series, you actually got demoted
Yeah.
to the series. So if you finish in the bottom three in Cup, you move to Xfinity. Bottom 3 points in Xfinity, you move to trucks.
Yep.
And so it was a way to, kind of keep things fresh, get new drivers in different leagues, race against new people. And so I enjoyed that part. I'm pretty sure if you ask anybody that ran that system, they probably had mixed emotions about it. But
Mm-hmm.
personally, me, I liked it because every new season you're racing with new people. So I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. So
Yeah, we tried that. I mean, we had Smeal ran obviously an Xfinity series before my Fast Friday series, and what ended up happening was A Squared kind of poached a lot of the Xfinity drivers like Zach Millett.
hmm
There was others, I can't think of them right now, but so the Xfinity series kind of died because all the drivers that were good got picked up by the Cup team owners, and it was like, well, the system worked because we filled out our rosters with people that left or couldn't make it or quit or left the Discord. We grabbed all these Xfinity drivers, but then on Friday nights it was like, okay, we got 6 people that showed up for this race, and it's like, well, that's because everybody's now a Cup driver, so it's like it worked, but
hmm
now Fridays are kind of screwed because we took all their drivers. So
Yeah.
I do miss that kind of tier system. That was a lot of fun. I mean, but now, with having as many drivers that we have and as many admins, you
It
can't
wouldn't
really,
work.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
it
really
wouldn't
do
work.
it because everybody wants to race. Like even me, like, I you can't tell me I can't run the truck series. Like, no, I want to run the truck series. Who cares if I'm a Cup driver? I want to run the truck series. I want to compete for points. I want to try and win the championship. And it's just we've gotten so big now where you can't really have the tier system. It's just there's too many people involved that want to run. Even like your schedule, like Fridays and Sundays. That's when you can do things. Well, if Friday we run Xfinity and we're like, oh, sorry, you can only run 3 races, then you're like, well, what the fuck? Like, Friday's only, that's one of the only nights I have that I can race. Like, so
Yeah.
that's why we kind of went away from that, because it doesn't make sense as big as we are now.
I mean, and even looking back at that, I kind of feel the same way. Like there's a lot of times, like when I was broadcasting for the truck series, like I'd be looking at these drivers. I was like, man, I wish I could go and run with these guys. Hell,
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could run with the Xfinity guys, but like we would run the Cup race first, and so I would run the Cup race, and then we would run the Xfinity and the truck race together on separate broadcasts.
Damn.
So there was a lot of times that, if I was broadcasting the truck race, I couldn't see the Xfinity race till,
Mm-hmm.
the next day. So, and, you know, it, looking at it, like I kind of felt like now looking, I was like, man, I had everybody watching my races, but then
Yeah.
the Xfinity and trucks were getting split viewership because they didn't know which
Yeah. Who to
which
watch?
series to
Yeah.
watch, and I don't know, maybe we, back in the day, maybe we could have worked on the schedule a little bit better where, every single series had their own
Mm-hmm.
viewership. Maybe it would increase the views for that channel or whatever, but you know, we're also working with a very small time frame
Yeah.
because we didn't want everybody to start racing at 5 o'clock, but we also didn't want people racing past 9 o'clock. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
you know,
tough.
yeah, it's tough. Maybe we could have ran races on Saturdays, but a lot. I believe most of the time people were more available for Sunday night. So
Mm-hmm.
we were trying to take 40 to 50 drivers and split them in a small window.
Yeah.
So it was hard
Yeah.
doing that.
It's yeah.
So
It's still hard today. I mean, it's just can't.
I mean,
Everybody's
with,
not gonna
with
be able to be there. It's just
yeah,
unfortunate.
and then with you guys, doing races, almost every single day, it allows me to say, okay, you know what, I'm free today,
Yeah.
where I wasn't free last week. Hey, I can jump in, kind
Yeah.
of thing. So
Exactly. All right, buddy. Well, I'm gonna go to bed because I gotta get up and go
sounds
to
good,
work in
man.
the morning. I appreciate you being on here. I had a blast. We'll definitely have to have you back on. Um,
Absolutely.
I had so much fun. I love these podcasts. I mean, obviously, I got to know you in Atlanta, but most of the people I talk to on here, I've never talked to them
Yeah.
ever in my life. So it's always fun to talk to somebody that I've met in person, had a fun weekend with. We didn't die. Reynolds almost died in the hot tub, but
I felt like I was going to die after what day? I think it was after the cup race, I believe.
yeah,
I felt like I was about to have a heart attack that day,
yeah,
but
that
it was
was
just really bad heartburn.
yeah. These nachos and mini donuts and whatever
It
else
was,
we ate there.
yeah, it took me about a whole week to actually be able to
Oh,
swallow food
yeah.
naturally.
It took me 4 days after I got back home just to catch up on sleep and like not
Yeah.
drinking. I mean, literally, I think I woke up one morning. It was like, it was the morning my dad got there for the cup race because I had gotten shit faced the night before.
Hmm.
And I woke up to hearing my dad's voice downstairs. So I wake up, I walk downstairs, bypass everyone. I think I hugged my dad, said hey, and then I went straight to the fridge, grabbed me a White
And
Claw.
you were drinking beers like 9, 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, dude, you do you. I can't do that.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
was like, I gotta at least let the preacher get out of church first before I crack one open.
the only way I was gonna feel better is to start drinking again.
Yep.
That was my
Uh,
plan. So
More power to you, man.
yeah. All right, well, I'll let you exit out of the Discord here, and then I'll close us out. But thank you for being on here. Had a blast. We'll do it again, and
Absolutely.
hopefully we see you next year at the ARCS retreat, and I'm sure I will probably see you on track next year in A squared.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whenever you want me back on, let me know. I'll be glad to jump back on here with you, my friend.
Absolutely. Had a blast. Thank you for being on here, and we'll talk to you next time we talk to you.
Absolutely, man. Have a good one, man. Take care.
All right, see you, bud.
All right.
All right, that was Ross Baxter here for episode 30. We're closing in on 1 a.m., so we're going to shut this thing down here. Appreciate y'all tuning in right after our broadcast for ARX, but thank y'all again for tuning in. I'm signing off. I'm tired. I got to go to work tomorrow, but thank y'all for being a part of it. Couldn't get the Twitch figured out. Hopefully I'll get that back up and running, but at least we were live on YouTube. Till I see y'all the next time, make sure you stay on that loud pedal.